What's good? Mike's in the building, and today I'm super excited to let you guys know that Insta360 has partnered with the channel, and they are bringing something that's really dope into the action camera market. Super excited about this because you guys know I pride my channel on dropping some of that sweet quality and multi-camera view. Today we're gonna do an unboxing, kind of show you what you get when you buy the Insta360 ONE R Twin Edition. We're gonna see what's in the packaging, what's included, and is it worth getting. So let's get into the unboxing. So many different reasons to talk about the Insta360 ONE R when we're talking about action camera, because they bring so much to the table at the incoming price point that they are entering the market. As we unbox the Insta360 ONE R, I'm just gonna go over some of my favorite things about the camera and why it struck me and why I'm super interested in making it part of my toolkit to produce amazing content while I'm on twos. Let's take a quick look at the Insta360 ONE R. It's a very exciting camera. It's not just a 4K camera, it also comes with a 360 module to make it a full 360 camera. Before going any further with the camera, I wanna show you guys the packaging. It is very reminiscent of Apple packaging, very well put together. It's like a coffin style. On the side, you're gonna see some example bike riders, vloggers, snowboarders, and of course, somebody like your boy on a motorcycle. Let's crack this open. You're gonna see the 4K module, the brains of the operation, that's this component here, the 360 module, and of course you have a battery here. It shoots 5.7K in 360 degrees. It has image stabilization into it. There's a slew of specs that we can go to on why this camera is extremely special to the market. It's basically challenging the big boy on the yard. That's always a great thing. We all win when stuff like this starts happening and companies start pushing the envelope slightly. This is gonna be a battery module. It has a little latch right here for you to snap on. If you notice at the prongs here, there are a gasket to create a seal. That way it's water resistant and waterproof to a certain degree. If I move the latch, you can see it moves the prongs. That's what attached the components all together. Very reminiscent of Legos, really cool. You're gonna notice the branding on there. It says 360, and of course the battery is going to be red. Love the accent color, a really nice looking piece. Here we are, the 4K model and the brains of the operation. At the very bottom, you're going to notice where the prongs are meant to align. You will see the sockets where the little hinges are supposed to go and latch on all together. And if you look at the 4K module, it's very reminiscent of your traditional 4K action camera that's already available on the market. And at the very top, you're gonna notice a power button and a record button. That's different. Most other action cameras tend to have just one button at the top that shows record. Once you look at the opposite side of the module, you'll see there's a little latch here. If you look close, you will see it's a USB-C port. That's great news. It's nice to see that most companies are moving forward using USB-C. This is the new wave. There's one thing you need to keep in mind about each module, or even the door here. Once you close them, they have a very satisfying snap that tells you or reassure you that it is sealed and closed properly. And if you look at the display module, you could see the screen. Let's remove the fill. Very satisfying. Might as well do the very front as well. Very crisp, very clean. It comes with dual lens. The first one you're gonna get is gonna be a 4K module. It's almost like playing with Legos, adapting it to the application where you wanna shoot what you're trying to achieve, the story you're trying to tell. It works perfect. And then again, if you wanna capture all around, you don't have to worry about where you're facing your camera, what you're recording at around what time. You throw in the 360 lens. They do include an invisible selfie stick. It's not necessarily invisible, but the way the software works in the Insta360, it's smart enough to know to stitch the boom pole out while you're recording yourself. So very, very interesting when we're talking about this camera. I love the modularity of it. So if you're out there, you're shooting a standard moto vlog where you're doing your wide angle right above your handlebar, you're shooting your street, it's perfect. This is the thing that makes this camera extremely special. It's a 360 module. It has a camera on the front facing here. Actually, it's a widescreen camera in the front and in the rear. They basically stitched the image to create one 360 image. On the side here, you're gonna see the prongs, and of course, where the latch would actually go on as well if you were to put them all together. And here's the prongs I was telling you guys about that aligns and they attach to the camera base. This is really impressive. What Insta360 is doing is a very different, unique approach to action camera, especially with 360 being very popular at the moment and action camera having their own segment. They're basically merging them into one and saving you a ton of money having to buy two cameras. Super high-end quality. We're talking about shooting 4K, 1080p, 24 frames, 30 frames per second. It even goes all the way up to 200 frames for slow-mo. Now, it varies based on the level of quality that you choose when you are doing that. So it doesn't shoot 4K in 200 frames per second, so be mindful that you will lose a little bit of quality. Battery life is also gonna be 70 minutes, shooting 360 and 30 frames per second. That's pretty good battery life. This little box, we'll go see what's in here. This is your USB cable for charging and downloading off the camera. It's quite a bit more in here, guys. Here's another thing that they included. It's a rubber gasket, almost like a seal cover for the 360 camera. Very important. You don't want the lens to get scratched because it's not replaceable, at least in this model or anything like that. Maybe in the future, that might be something they might want to explore, but a huge deal. It might look like it's something that's very small, but it's a great way to protect your investment. Now I could actually cover it. Another thing that's super interesting about this camera, it is waterproof up to 5 meters without a housing. Even though it's modular, everything comes apart. The kit itself is super impressive. Again, we can go into specs, start talking about all the key features or the numbers, though I do know the actual numbers, but I try to focus on the storytelling, on my visual, and making sure my image is always crisp. This camera shoots 100 megabits per second, so that means the bit depth in your image is going to be extremely detailed. So these are some of the minor things that they're doing that is very interesting. Now, one thing that you guys have to remember when we're talking about the Insta360 ONE R, they are extremely savvy when it comes to the actual product's growth. During the time I've had this in my possession, we're talking about a good 3 months, through the entire lockdown, right? I've been putting some work on it, using it, and getting a feel on how it works. There's been several updates, so they're continuously updating the firmware, the features, adding more and more to it. And to think that this is their second iteration at a 360 camera, that is really impressive. Most competitors out there, you get one firmware update annually, like small increment updates and stuff like that. We're talking about Insta360. They're constantly making sure that everything's working to its optimal specs or adding features. They do include a Insta360 case. There is a latch at the very top. You can use that to unlock it. Pretty standard stuff. It also has the 2 prongs at the bottom for you to mount it the way you want to. Another thing that I'm truly digging with Insta360 is that they are not oblivious to the market. So they know there are competitor action cameras out there. So when they brought out their Insta360 ONE R, quite a few of the accessories are all compatible with what's currently on the market. So not only you get a bundle of motorcycle accessories in that exact twin bundle that's suitable for you to produce anything that you would like to or you could dream of. Anything else you've had with past action cameras are gonna be compatible. You don't have to worry about it. So any car mounts, motorcycle mounts, underwater mounts, pretty much all of those across the board are gonna work whether you're using action camera A or the Insta360 ONE R. So again, they are self-aware that they're joining a market where there's another competitor that's out there that's seasoned, that knows what they're doing, and their approach on how they're entering the segment, not only being very distinct with the actual unit itself, updating the firmware, making sure everything's compatible, they know what's going on. So I like that, and I think a lot of people are gonna find a lot of value in that. This is part of the Insta360 motorcycle bundle. When you are upgrading your action camera to the Insta360, recommend it because for motorcycling, it comes with everything that you need. Let's see what comes in that packaging. quite a bit of stuff. This bundle is definitely something you want to get, especially if you know you're going to be on a motorcycle, you're doing motocross or something like that. It's going to be worth it. Wow, look at that. This just blew my mind a little bit. This is an aluminum piece. It's not a piece of plastic, unlike other places. They usually send you plastic mounts or anything like that. This is aluminum, actually. Anodized black, nice. You can have a thumb screw tool, another very important piece of the puzzle. You have the handlebar mount. Again, usually these components are fairly expensive once you start buying them, making them part of your toolkit for recording. It's nice that these are all included and ready to go. Can be rotated, very versatile. You're getting one hell of a deal. You can basically turn your camera on, do the update, and then go out there and start shooting, really. You also have another mount for a tripod. There's also another extension here, another metal extension. So that's quite a bit for me to go in depth into what's in here. They are throwing a frenzy of accessories for you to play with. You don't have to go out and purchase a second mount. So it's an all-in-one purchase. You have 3M tape in here. There is quite a few. So this bundle is absolutely worth it. You guys know, if you're used to using action cameras out there, just buying accessories alone, you're gonna be spending a ton of money from what they offer. But this packaging here comes with everything you'll need to set up and get you going the day of receiving your entire motorcycle bundle with from Insta360. The Insta360 ONE R has a stabilized system. It's called flow state stabilization. It does an amazing job, and you guys know riding a Ducati through New York can be very vibrating, or outside of New York, doesn't matter. A Ducati is very vibrating, and for it to maintain a very stable field of view or showing you what you're looking at very stable, that flow state is doing extra work and keeping that video looking clean and straight. So definitely really dope there. All right, I have one more item I have to show you guys. This is the Insta360 selfie stick. I call it the pole. In the very back here, it's going to show you how to set it up. Let's get it out the packaging and see what it's all about. Again, the motorcycle bundle and what you get with the Insta360 Twin Edition is an amazing deal. You're getting multiple cameras into one and a bunch of accessories that you're gonna need anyway. Very nice handle. It's etched, that way you have nice grip when you're holding it. Just gonna extend it somewhat so you guys get a general idea. Here's something that's interesting. At the very bottom of the selfie stick, it has a female 1/4 inch thread at the bottom, so you can mount something else there while you're actually shooting. Now, I know I mentioned that I'm not gonna go into specs too deep. I like to approach it more on a practical level, knowing what I could physically do with the product and produce. So this is why this unboxing is a little bit more loose, in my opinion. I feel like that's where we wanna go when we're talking about equipment. It's less about the equipment, it's what the equipment could do for you. Voice control works perfectly, does an amazing job. Most importantly, we're moving with time. Again, I mentioned Insta360 are very self-aware. Our competitors, they sell a controller of $50 to $70, $80. Insta360 does have a controller as well, but if you're not in the market to spending a little bit of extra money, yeah, you could use that, your Apple Watch. You can control your camera from there, cue it to record and stop, which is the main thing when you're on your bike or anything else. So again, these are another one of the things that I find that is super useful, being self-aware and being very modern. I can control it from my watch or from my iPhone. That's pretty dope. Another thing, most of us that do motovlog, we jump on bikes, we tend to record our vocals and express ourselves, tell amazing stories, or record some mishaps, right? We record our voices. And they did something that competitors have yet to master, is create a mic adapter that's small enough that it's not hindering your lid, your helmet, or anything, the structure. It's very small, it's almost like a small pen cap. And that's impressive, right? That's what you're thinking, right? It gets even more impressive. It's very cost effective for you to get that mic adapter. It's not gonna run you $60 like the competitor. We're talking about $10 to $15 or in that realm. I might be wrong. Again, things tend to change, prices tend to change, but it is extremely small. and is very cost effective. It doesn't change the look of the camera much, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Again, these are things that I find as super useful. If you're looking to grab one of these, check out the affiliate link down below. You can always grab one for yourself. Always a great way to help the channel and support what we do here. We can keep on going with this as far as we can, and this video is gonna have to be split into multiple ways. So this is the unboxing. I'm kind of telling you what I think is really dope about the camera. I want to kind of dive into it and show you how to use it and how I prefer to use it. And then lastly, we're gonna close it off by my long-term review. So keep an eye out, check out the next video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Drop me a comment down below. It's more than just one action camera. It's multiple cameras. We're talking about 360, 4K recording, everything, and a lot more, and a lot more. Some of the shots that we're looking at here on the demo that I'm doing for you guys, usually it would require for me to have 4 action cameras running, 4 action cameras, not 4. It would require 4 action camera for me to get that exact look and feel to tell my story or visually tell my story. Now, I can go into one Insta360 ONE R placed at the right place on my motorcycle, and instantly I have 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 cameras in one shot. And I will show you how to do that. Catch you guys later.